Hurry up and unpack, housekeeper. My parents are coming soon, so don't be a nuisance, okay?
Sean, I wasn't told anything about living with your parents.
Of course, you weren't. I decided it myself. There was no need to tell Kelly. You just need to listen to what I say. If you have a problem, you can leave, right? That's not obvious at all. Deciding unilaterally to live with in-laws. Sean also pushed ahead without discussion about buying our new house. And he dumped all the moving preparations on me. It's unbelievable, but I wasn't surprised at that time. Because I knew everything. And I had already taken steps ahead. Okay, I'll unpack right now. So, where are your things? What? I left you to handle the moving preparation. You should know where the stuff is. Oh, I remember now. Your stuff isn't here. So, unpacking is impossible. When I calmly told him, Sean's face changed instantly. His irritation must be at its peak because of my defiant attitude.
What's that attitude towards your husband? Just because we're moving to a new house, you think you can get carried away? Don't get too cocky for a housekeeper.
Sean yelled loudly, not minding the onlookers. There were a few passers-by around who sensed the strange atmosphere and pretended not to see. Meanwhile, I smiled inwardly. Who was really getting carried away? Who was really on a high horse? I'll make him understand. As Sean and I were glaring at each other, my in-laws arrived at the new house. They must have been looking forward to a new life, but our uneasy atmosphere made them look serious. I heard Sean's loud voice. Is something wrong? If there's a problem, Kelly, don't hesitate to speak up. We're family now, and we want to discuss things openly and not keep anything bottled up. They spoke to me in a gentle and calm tone. Though my married life with Sean wasn't exactly fun, I loved spending time with my in-laws. Thanks to them, I have made it through to this day. Words of gratitude naturally came out of my mouth. Thank you for your concern. But this time, it's my fault for upsetting Sean. I sent his stuff to another location. Of course, he would be upset with his things gone. Hearing my story, my in-laws were visibly shocked. It's because I never make such simple mistakes. Since getting married, I've tried my hardest to be a suitable wife for Sean. I've never skimped on cooking, cleaning, or laundry. While it might have been taken for granted by my husband, my in-laws have always noticed my efforts. Thanks for always caring. We're glad Kelly is Sean's wife. They've said these kind words to me more than once or twice. So, unlike my husband, they didn't shout when they heard about the mistake, but kept smiling and asked for confirmation. Do you know where you sent it then? If we know the location, we can retrieve it quickly. So Sean, please calm down. Well, if Mom and Dad say so. Sean nodded, holding back his anger, albeit reluctantly. Even Sean can't be too harsh with the people who raised him. Remembering his intimidating attitude before my in-laws arrived makes my blood boil, but getting emotional now would jeopardize my revenge. I took a deep breath to calm myself and then casually revealed the truth. Actually, I sent Sean's belongings to his lover's house. What? Did I hear that wrong?
I thought I heard the word affair. It's a misunderstanding, and it's totally unrelated.
Sean shouted, trying to drown out his parents' confused voices. He was visibly panicked, spittle flying, and his eyes wide open. Yet, as someone accustomed to lying, he quickly managed to compose his face. The cold sweat that had broken out was soon gone, and now he wore a cool smile. Sorry for raising my voice all of a sudden. That statement caught me off guard, got me all surprised. An affair must be some kind of mistake. I'm married to Kelly, right? I wouldn't do anything to destroy that trust. But Kelly isn't someone who would make such a wild claim without any basis, right? Yeah, I'm shocked too, but we gotta hear both sides first. Seeing my in-laws still looking puzzled, Sean put on a charming smile and placed his hands on their shoulders. Mom, Dad, I'm your son. I wouldn't do anything to upset you. Sure, couples fight,
and maybe when you walk down the street you see someone attractive, but that's it. After all, we vowed love to each other.
I wouldn't be rash.
Can we believe that, right? He's our son, after all. You can be responsible for your words, can't you?
Of course. Kelly's just upset because I've been busy with work lately.
She must have just wanted to grab my attention with this lie out of loneliness, right?
Kelly? As he turned to me, Sean's mouth smiled but his eyes did not. I could almost hear his inner voice saying, "Agree with me, don't say anything unnecessary." If I were still the obedient me, I might have caved right now. But I've prepared everything, and there's nothing to fear. Instead of flinching, I responded with the brightest smile.
Not at all. What are you saying?
Sean seemed shocked that I would contradict him and showed far more panic than before. My in-laws tried to step in but were faster in addressing me.
What do you mean by not at all? Are you saying Kelly's side of the story differs from Sean's?
I'm deeply grateful for my in-laws' fairness from the bottom of my heart. Even though we're legally family, it's normal to favor one's own blood-related child. I wished we could continue as a family with such wonderful people. But that can no longer be. I owe it to them to tell the truth for all their kindness up to now.
In fact, I've been treated like a housekeeper by Sean all along. He dumped all the moving preparations on me. Moreover, I wasn't even informed about living with you until I arrived at this new house just a while ago. And when I refused, he threatened to kick me out. What? That's completely different from what we heard? We heard from Sean that Kelly was all for it. So it was actually just Sean's own decision?
My in-laws looked incredulous and soon focused their gaze on Sean. Sean faced their silent questioning and responded vehemently.
That's nonsense. I did explain everything to Kelly. She's playing dumb. She's exploiting your kindness, Mom and Dad, and trying to get back at me for not paying her attention. Don't be fooled. Even if you say don't be fooled, when the claims are this contradictory, it puts us in a tough spot too.
Neither side has solid evidence. This is just a pointless argument, isn't it? I'm stumped. Perhaps frustrated by my in-laws' still ambiguous attitude. Sean lashed out at me without holding back.
Hey Kelly! Cut it out with the tantrums already. Mom and Dad are confused, and so am I. Why can't you be straightforward instead of lying?
I am being straightforward.
It's Sean who's trying to twist things. Your father said, without evidence it's just empty talk, right? Well, I'm about to show you the evidence. What?
The word evidence surprised not my father-in-law, but Sean. Ignoring Sean's baffled expression, I pulled out a voice recorder from my pocket. Pressing play, Sean's true nature spilled out. Hurry up and unpack, housekeeper. My parents are coming soon, so don't be a nuisance, okay? Sean, I wasn't told anything about living with your parents. Of course, you weren't. I decided it myself. There was no need to tell Kelly. You just need to listen to what I say. If you have a problem, you can leave, right? Hearing the playback, Sean dropped the keys to the new house. They clattered loudly on the stone steps.
Hey, what was that?
What do you mean, what?
That was what you said to me just now.
Have you already forgotten?
Starting to get dementia? That's not what I mean. Why would you record something like that? Nobody carries a voice recorder around.
It seemed Sean hadn't realized how aggressive his complaints sounded. Nor was he aware of the skeptical gaze of his parents behind him.
That's because of how you've been treating me day in and day out. What did you say? I've reached my limit with your bullying. But you have such a good public face that no one would believe me if I just explained. If you sweet-talk them like earlier, it's over.
That won't do.
I want out of this situation, so I've been carrying a voice recorder to gather objective evidence. What are you doing such a thing on your own?
Just as Sean was about to grab me, another hand reached out from behind him. My father-in-law pulled Sean back by the shoulder. As Sean turned around, there were my in-laws, looking furious.
Sean, what's the meaning of that recording? Weren't you able to stand by your words? And what about this bullying Kelly mentioned? That's a separate issue from living together or having an affair, isn't it? The way you spoke in that recording was pretty intimidating. You haven't been treating Kelly like that all along, have you?
Confronted by my in-laws. Sean, who usually dominated me, now looked utterly pale and diminished.
It's not what it looks like. Maybe I got a bit carried away thinking about our new life. I apologize for any hurtful words I threw out. But I never habitually hurt Kelly. Is that really true? Can we believe you this time? People make mistakes. But forgiveness only goes so far. Repeat the same mistake and it's a different story. It's just common sense for any adult, right? I swear. I never habitually bullied Kelly. It's the truth.
Thanks for the vow. Now, let me just clarify the truth. I reached for the voice recorder again with a smile and played a different recording. Sean's crude laughter blasted through the speaker. Hey, housekeeper, there's dust on the shelf. Did you skip cleaning, huh? Someone who doesn't do their job needs a punishment. Sleep in the hallway tonight. And don't you dare bring a blanket. As the playback continued, it revealed more of Sean's abusive language. The more it played, the redder my in-laws' faces got, looking like they were about to erupt. Sean couldn't take it anymore and screamed, his voice cracking.
All right. I admit it. I've been bullying you all along. I apologize, so please stop the recording.
I obliged and pressed the stop button. The room fell silent, except for Sean's labored breathing.
I stopped it like you asked. Now, are you truly going to apologize?
Not just me, but my in-laws too were staring at Sean sternly. Sean swallowed hard, apologized deeply. I'm truly sorry for the hurtful words I've hurled at you. I promise never to demean you again. No one responded. My in-laws and I just kept staring at the back of Sean's head. Initially, Sean kept quiet, submissive, but it must have started to feel uncomfortable.
Hey!
And we didn't say you could speak.
When did this become about permissions? Haven't I apologized enough? Whether it's enough isn't for the one apologizing to decide, but for the one receiving the apology. But I guess we can pause the discussion here for now.
As I smiled, Sean turned towards me with a look of utter exhaustion.
What now? Is there something else you want to say?
Just to be clear, I haven't been cheating. Don't worry. It's not about cheating. It's a more interesting story. Look at this. I then took out my phone and played a video. My in-laws also leaned in to watch alongside Sean.
Is this our bedroom? Sean's coming in. He's taking something out of the drawer. A wallet? Wait, he's taking money out?
This is what I wanted to show you. Fun story, right, Sean? Sean stared at the phone, his face turning ashen. His lips trembling, gradually turning purple.
This is my second wallet.
This flashy wallet? Mostly, this drawer is part of my vanity. Are you keeping your wallet in my vanity? Sean finally fell silent. My in-laws, prompting a confession with their sharp gaze, saw him clench his lips and look down.
Going silent when it gets tough is just like a child.
Well, fine. I'll explain it to your parents. Recently, money has been disappearing little by little from my wallet. If it had been a one-time thing or if things like bank books had gone missing together, I might have suspected a thief. Sadly, it's just cash being taken little by little. As I glanced at him, Sean's face was red as an octopus. His gaze was still fixed on the ground. If Sean had been a saintly person, I wouldn't need to suspect him, but in reality, he's been a villain who has continued to bully me. I set up a camera to uncover the truth. This video is the result. This is unbelievable. My father-in-law muttered as if talking to himself. Imagine the shock of parents thinking their son had finally started a family, only to find he has been bullying that family and stealing money. My mother-in-law seemed to have lost the energy to speak, just sighing deeply. I haven't stolen anything.
Why would I need to do that? I work and earn money. I have enough, don't I? I'm not a beggar.
Despite the camera footage, Sean continued to make unsightly excuses. But maybe that can't be helped. Admitting to stealing would naturally lead to questions about his motives. In fact, Sean began stealing money a few months ago after deciding to buy a new house. After obtaining decisive evidence with the camera, I started investigating why Sean had resorted to stealing from me. It was then that I first found out that Sean was financially supporting his mistress.
With such clear evidence available, do you still intend to struggle? Just admit it already. You needed the money for your affair. No. I absolutely have not been cheating. The mistress's name is Riker, right? I don't know her. She's a fictional character.
I couldn't help but sigh. He continues to deny it so stubbornly because there is still no clear evidence regarding the affair. But anyone with a bit of sense would understand. The bullying and stealing were all perfectly premeditated. It's impossible that only the affair was ambiguous. I threw the private investigator's report on Sean's infidelity, which I had received, at him. As he picked up the several pages documenting the investigation and checked them, the color drained from his face. On the contrary, it seemed like my in-laws' heads might explode from the blood rushing to them. They clenched their teeth so hard I worried they might break. Both my father-in-law and my mother-in-law raised their voices, not caring who heard.
What's the meaning of this, Sean? After all your vehement denials of any affair, you've put yourself in a situation where you can't escape. If you were going to be exposed like this, why didn't you just admit your guilt from the start? Do you even have a human heart? You disgrace your parents. Parents worry about their children forever, but you've gone beyond worry to sheer disgust. How shameful, to deceive your own family. It's not just Kelly, you've lied to your own parents too?
In stark contrast to the parents' visible anger, Sean's expression turned icy. After they had their say, Sean let out a long sigh and then said something outrageous.
Well, it's all coming out anyway. I was supposed to handle this better. Whatever. I was planning to leave you all anyway. Just happened a bit sooner, yeah. What do you mean, Sean? What do you mean you were going to leave us too?
My in-laws also lowered their voices and pressed for his true intentions. Sean no longer seemed to try to hide his bad nature. It appears he has completely given up.
What do you mean, what? I bought this beautiful new house purely to live in with my beloved Riker. I harassed Kelly and dumped this sudden move on her to pressure her into wanting a divorce. Once I'm single again, the rest is easy. I'll just need to give you guys some plausible reason to leave. Family can be managed with just a little sweet talking. What are you thinking? You were actually planning something so foolish? Kelly and us, what do you take us for? Have some shame. Shame. Intentionally harming someone's mental state is nothing short of criminal.
My in-laws unleashed their greatest anger of the day, but Sean only laughed it off loudly.
You all were just stepping stones for me to meet Riker. For Riker, you should gracefully accept being discarded by me.
As brazen and vile as his words were, he suddenly stopped laughing midway. Because I started laughing even louder. This puzzled not only Sean but also my in-laws.
What? Why are you laughing?
It's creepy.
Because it's just so ridiculous. How can I not laugh at this? You see, I've already spoken to Riker. That's why I know her true nature. To Riker, Sean is nothing more than an ATM. What? What nonsensical thing are you saying? You must be jealous of Riker, huh? Give it up. Unlike you, Riker is both beautiful and elegant. You never stood a chance from the start. True, Riker is a beautiful woman. I was surprised when I saw her. But think about it, do you really believe you're so attractive that such stunning beauty would choose you?
Sean's complacent smile quickly twisted into a grimace. A short groan followed by heavy snorting could be heard.
Riker is a beautiful person inside as well. That's why she fell for my personality. Anyway, don't interfere with someone else's love life just because you weren't chosen. A truly beautiful person inside wouldn't have an affair with a married man. You say you bought the new house for Riker, but I don't think she plans to live with you. In fact, she quickly moved into a high-rise condo with another man. What? Another man? Look, here's a photo of Riker's cohabiting partner. He's handsome, isn't he? You're not bad-looking, but compared to this young guy, it's like night and day. Sean's hands trembled as he took the photo from me, and then he froze with his mouth agape. In it, Riker was cozily holding hands with a stunningly handsome man, as if all the beauty of the world was packed into him. Tears began to roll down Sean's cheeks. It's a lie, this can't be true. Why don't you go check it out for yourself? Riker bragged to me about this high-rise condo, so I know the address. Wait, the address, could it be? Suddenly, my mother-in-law spoke up, and I smirked. That's right. I sent Sean's belongings to this condo. Confidently stating this, Sean finally collapsed to his knees. He slumped to the floor, his arms hanging limply. So that's it, what goes around comes around. Well, I hate to say it, but I don't feel sorry for him. He tried to deceive even his parents. Guess he got what was coming to him. Even my in-laws sighed in exasperation. Seemed like he had no energy left to argue anymore, but I decided to deliver the final blow. Sean, you were too naive. It's just how it is. If you're going to deceive people, you should be prepared to be deceived yourself. I won't forgive you for deceiving not just me, but also my kind father-in-law and mother-in-law. Finally, without saying a word, Sean hung his head in silence. Quietly, tears fell to the floor, drop by drop. Without exchanging any words, both my in-laws and I silently left the room. Later on, Sean began living alone in the spacious new house as an apology, but peace didn't last long. One day, Riker's man suddenly barged in, leading to a heated confrontation. It was such a scene of chaos that neighbors, alarmed by the extraordinary noise and swearing, ended up calling the police. It was all because of the luggage I had sent. Just as Sean had no idea about Riker's main squeeze, the man knew nothing about Sean's existence either. The relationship between them only came to light due to the sudden arrival of the luggage. Furthermore, the address and phone number of Sean were written on the shipping label. The man stormed in after seeing it. Ultimately, the expensive furniture Sean had dreamt of for a life with Riker was completely damaged in the violent scuffle. The wallpaper and flooring were all torn and battered, plunging Sean into further despair. Meanwhile, it turned out that Riker had several other affairs besides Sean and the man from the condo. However, it seemed that everyone involved had their eyes opened by the fight between the men that escalated to police involvement. Eventually, they all decided to abandon her, realizing that getting involved with Riker would only lead to trouble. Having lost everything, Riker once again sought refuge with Sean, bombarding his phone with messages and visiting his new home multiple times. According to rumors from the neighbors, they often spotted a young woman lurking around the vicinity of the new house. Sean gradually became afraid to leave the house, spending his days with the shutters and curtains tightly closed. He quit his job and only took on remote work, living in constant fear of Riker. As for me, I'm currently pouring myself into my work. Now that all unnecessary worries have disappeared, I find going to work every day enjoyable. My boss even recognizes my hard work, and I'm set to get a promotion next year. With more stability in my life, I decided to express my gratitude to my in-laws. Without their support, I wouldn't have been able to corner Sean so smoothly. They are truly kind people who treated me like their own daughter. In order to repay them, I've decided to cherish this new life and move forward positively.